we are going to move on to the topic of leadership. This is our final topic before we flip into some sort of playful format here. Now, considering the Mayor of Calgary has only one vote on council, building consensus among your council colleagues is essential to addressing the issues we've been debating this evening. Our question for each of you is, how well do you think Calgary City Council has operated over the last 4 years, and what can be done to improve it in the upcoming term? Please do look forward at some point here. Now, Jeremy Farkas, you're up first on this. You have a minute.
Thank you. I want to use all the lessons I've learned from my entire career as a community association volunteer, as a city councillor, police commissioner, nonprofit director, as a CEO reporting to a board. If anything went wrong, it didn't matter. I was personally responsible. I was personally accountable. I went to my board chair, I explained what was wrong, and I showed a plan to fix it. And when things went well, I brought in the individual who was responsible to the board meeting, and I showed the board that this was the person who had worked their butt off to deliver for the organization. And that's the kind of experience I want to bring. Our next mayor has to be somebody who could count to 8, but it has to be a different 8. It can't be 7 or 8 people on the outside, 8 people on the inside, fighting for 4 years like we've seen. We need to give up a little bit of the leadership from the mayor's chair so that they can be more the coach, the mentor, the captain. Of course, sometimes the mayor needs to be the quarterback, but by giving up the leadership, by taking ownership, that's how we can actually build a city council working for Calgarians again.
Thanks very much, Jeremy. All right, over to you, Brian Thiessen.
Yeah, listen, I've worked for 30 years in leadership roles, and my day job is guiding organizations when they need to change out their C-suite and CEO roles. And what I see when I observe this City Hall is that there's a lot of phrases used like, I directed admin, or blaming administration. In my experience, employees in organizations don't deliver because they get bad leadership. And the leadership comes from council. This council is 15 individuals running in different directions. So I would get council together and I would build a consensus, as I did as managing partner of a law firm, as I did as chair of the Calgary Police Commission. Once we issue direction, I would get admin clear directives on how we wanted to implement on our key priorities, measure and expect results. And I would absolutely, when I'm mayor, make sure that the buck stops with me. No blaming admin, no blaming the province, rolling up my sleeves and solving issues by working with people who can have the expertise and are in city admin.
Okay. Jeff Davison, it is your turn.
Well, I mean, frankly, we already have a two-party state. We have the yes mayor party and we have the naysayer party, and all of this just leads to dysfunction. That's why I keep talking about this needs to be about dysfunction versus direction in this election, because leadership is about bringing people together. We need a leader who can work with 14 other individuals, and they're all going to be elected for different reasons, representing different communities. Work together, bring them together, and find the common ground so that we can get things done for Calgarians. That's what my superpower is. I do that each and every day in healthcare, dealing with patients. We have doctors and families and nurses and care. All of those wraparound pieces are what we actually need to do to make an effect for the positive on one single patient. And that's what we need to think about when we bring Calgarians together. So ultimately, day one, we're going to get together as a new city council and put a strategic plan together. Because I think in the absence of having a strategic plan, chaos has reigned at City Hall. And it's time to put a plan in place that respects what Calgarians are asking us to do.
Jyoti Gondek.
The first thing that I did when I became mayor was connect with every member of council that had been elected. And I sat down with them and asked them, what do you wish to see in your ward, and what do you hope to accomplish, and how can I help you? I have worked with every member of council to help them write motions and amendments, even the ones I didn't agree with, to make sure that they were able to bring them to the floor of council so we could have the debate. That's what a good leader does. You make sure that people's voices are heard because they're representing the public. So in that collaborative process, I have to tell you, for anyone who didn't read the paper this morning, we were just announced as the city with the strongest economy in Canada. And you don't do that by having a dysfunctional council. You do that because you brought people together. We have the greatest number of housing starts in this nation, 55% of all the housing starts in this province. We have the fastest growing tech sector in the country. And we did that because we showed investors that we are a city that believes in itself. We have invested in ourselves, and that has gained attraction, and we have investment as a result of it.
Over to you, Sonia Sharp.
Yeah, thank you. So what I would say is I'm a bold leader, and a leader who's actually focused on getting the things done. My leadership style won't change as mayor, but how I lead the city will change, and how the city leads will change. If you want to get things done, there's one thing we need to do first. When it comes to senior administration, the first thing I'm doing is calling a special meeting of council with all those elected. The new council needs to have a discussion on whether or not things need to be changed. To be clear, for the 99% of city employees that work there every day, I'm not talking about you. We want to have appropriate leadership for you as well, and I have your back. We have all heard about the grand commitments being talked about up here on our platforms, but nothing actually gets done until city administration realizes their job is actually being a public servant, and they are accountable, and they need to report to council, and we report to you. Calgarians care about the city, and we need to change. I have business experience, I have seen the city from the inside, and now as a politician.
Thanks very much. Okay, we go to a slightly shortened open debate round on this topic. And Brian Thiessen, I want to start with something you said. You said that you would not blame the province. My goodness, that seems crazy to take that tool out of your tool belt. The provincial government has stepped into
You've probably
some,
noticed I don't hesitate to call out the province. But yeah.
the provincial government has stepped into some municipal issues lately,
Jeremy.
pulling.
You forgot Jeremy.
You started
Didn't you?
with me, but I-
Jeremy started.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then why were we all saying we forgot Jeremy?
We didn't say.
Okay,
Sorry,
round
Jeremy.
it up here.
We're just thinking of you, Jeremy.
I've got the floor.
All right.
forgot Jeremy.
Forgettable Jeremy Farkas. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Brian,
Just
to
keep
you.
repeating the name.
Forgotten.
That's good.
Brian, to you. The provincial government has stepped into some municipal issues lately, to be sure, pulling the funding on the Green Line, insisting on a new alignment. As an example, what approach would you take as mayor in working with Premier Danielle Smith and her government?
Well, first of all, the Premier, we should be able to expect from Premier Danielle Smith the same amount of respect as a city council that she demands of the Prime Minister. So we are the elected representatives of Calgarians, and the Calgary Party was formed to stand up to Danielle Smith as she sought to take over City Council and get her friend Sonia Sharp elected with Communities First. So I am here to stand up for Calgarians because I think that Calgary City Council should act for only one group, Calgarians. And I will say this, Mr. Farkas has repeated for debate after debate how he's going to stand up against the evil of political parties. It is an easy promise to make when you've never built a team, you've never worked with people and brought them together. While you were walking in the woods, I was building a team that came up with the most comprehensive policies and a real plan to take on the province and fight the province at their own game.
Okay, we're talking about parties now and the relationship with the provincial government, Danielle Smith and the UCP government. Sonia, we'll start with you. Jeremy, I know you're in the hopper here too.
So I'm just going to say something that may be shocking to Mr. Thiessen. I'm a card-carrying nobody, but having a combative relationship with the province isn't going to do you any good because you need to work with them. You need their money. And so prioritizing a productive relationship with government is actually leadership. Your article the other day was...
I do not need to report to them, ma'am.
The other day, your article was very interesting coming out. But what I would say is I don't always agree with the provincial government, but I will work with them because we need their money to serve Calgarians. And am I in the UCP's pocket? No.
Name three substantial ways you've disagreed with the province. Three substantial issues that you've stood up to the province on.
I think the question was me being in her pocket. And
Well,
so
I
I
think
don't
you
even
are.
carry I don't even carry membership, Brian. I mean, the thing is your ploy to run for NDP with that whole article the other day, and I stood up with the province on the Green Line. I've stood up to the province on making sure that the radar was taken care of.
We've all
I've
seen
stood up-
videos of you getting fundraising appeals from the Premier
do not
directly
think so.
on
Could
your
you
behalf.
Please send those to me. That would be great, Brian. But I really think that what you're trying to pit is me against you on provincial matters, and I am not a card-carrying anybody. I'm serious about that. Anyone can look it up, and I'm here to do great work for Calgarians and
I
work
think
with
you're
the
here to
provincial
work
government.
for Danielle Smith.
I am not. I don't work for anyone but the people sitting here, and I can't say the same for you because
All right.
I think you're going the other direction.
Thank you both for the spirited exchange. Jeremy Farkas,
You know,
How you doing?
I'm running as an independent because Calgarians can't afford 4 years of this.
what about building a
I'm,
team? You were
I'm
walking
the
in
only one.
woods.
I am the only one in this race who is running legitimately as an independent. We see Mr. Thiessen with the Calgary Party. We see Mr. Davison with the ABC Party endorsed. We see Jody Gondek recently endorsed by the Calgary's Future Super PAC. We see Sonia Sharp with Communities First, and most recently with the endorsement to Take Back Alberta. At the end of the day, we
And
need
you
to,
worked so
can you
well with
imagine,
people when you
can
were
you
on
imagine
city
a
council.
mayor,
You were the
can you
most
imagine a
disruptive
mayor who,
councillor.
Brian, I'm talking.
Oh, I'm talking
Can
too.
you
It's a
imagine a
debate.
mayor who walks into their first city council meeting having spent millions of dollars and months trying to get their colleagues to lose? You have to work from day one to be able to build that team. And running as an independent, I've shown what I can do working with a team. You don't survive walking, crawling, and bleeding 172 days across North America unless you can be certified as a wilderness first responder, unless you can build the teams to be able to pull that off. You don't go toe-to-toe with the provincial government like I did at Glenville Ranch to save that beautiful park from being destroyed, unless you can bring together conservatives and progressives, grassroots and business leaders to get it done.
You
And that's
almost
what
got
I'm
that
committed
park
to do as
flooded
Calgary's
just by
next
being
mayor.
there, Jeremy.
Jody
To
Gondek
focus on the
enters the
plans
chat.
to make the city
There's-
better,
there's
to
only
work with
one
everybody to
person-
get that done.
There's only one person on this stage that has actually had to go toe-to-toe with the provincial government on not just 3, but multiple items. The Green Line. When they revoked their funding on September 7th, I was the one who went back to them and said this is a big mistake and got them back to the negotiating table. When they said we are going to shut down the Cheermer and not give you an alternative, I'm the one that said you can't turn people out onto the street without some sort of a reasonable alternative. When they said you can't access federal funding anymore, I'm the one that went to them and said, you're going to have to fund us then, so you better find some way to get access to federal funding. And when they said that we don't support teachers, I'm the only one that showed up for teachers and said, we support you. You are backbone of our community, and without a solid public education, our kids are going nowhere.
I was there.
All right, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in here, and we're going to stay on the Green Line. And Jeff, I'll come to you. On this matter of the Green Line, the province wants to see it elevated through the downtown core. Do you support that, or do you think it should go underground as originally planned? We're going to go to like 30 seconds each here. Jeff.
First of all, I think Brian stole all of my comedy notes. This is great. I love being up here. I'll tell you, this is why things aren't working in partnership. I do not support the elevated level. I mean, I think that is incredibly irresponsible to put an elevated train 6 stories up. When we talk about building vibrancy and building placemaking and get more people downtown, an elevated track is just simply the wrong way to go. And we're yet again into another functional study that is about to cost us another $2 billion on the Green Line, which we don't need to do. We already know the cost of going cut and cover. And so, you know, Sonia Sharp's team keeps talking about deep tunnels, and they keep hitting up their Jim Gray and their Brian Fileski fans of killing the Green Line. Either they should just come out and say, let's kill the Green Line, or not. But Calgarians have been waiting for this for 20 years. I plan to deliver the rest of it on time, on budget, and doing it our way, the Calgary way. And we will push back on the province if this elevated track nonsense comes to fruition.
Sonia Sharp, the question, the original question, do you support the elevated line through the downtown core, or what?
I don't support the elevated line or under tunnel, so I'm not sure what Mr. Davis
You don't
is
support
actually
the train
saying.
at all.
I
Just
actually
come
support
clean
the
and say
train.
you
It was
don't
my
support it.
motion with Councillor McLean that brought the province back together because the Green Line died.
Was that the
And
same
so
motion
I'm
for
still
$284
speaking.
million
Thanks, let me
of
finish.
turnstiles?
I didn't interrupt
which would,
you, but thank you,
yeah.
Jeff. I really do
One at a
appreciate
time,
that.
Sonia Sharp.
So I
it is
just
a
would
debate.
say that I do support the Green Line, Event Center South, as far as we can go. And that's really critical, and get the ridership going and build trust back on our transit. The other thing about transit, we got to make it safe. So, you know, we got to look at the functional study, but I have no problem pushing back at the province.
We'll go to Brian Thiessen on the Green Line.
We absolutely, it was studied 4 times by 4 different engineering firms. Underground is the way to go. You know, the minister drawing a new route with a crayon on a cocktail napkin did not work. We need to get it underground, we need to get it built to the north, and we need to get a train, an east-west connector, and a train from the airport to downtown, like every other major city in North America.
Jeremy Farkas on the Green Line. And it's, you know, there may be pretty close to a consensus here, but how? How to get it done then?
Yeah, I support the Green Line. I support it underground. I support building
You voted
the train.
against it as a councillor.
I voted against the tunnel under the river. I voted for the Green Line portion when it came into the Beltline. So
Entire Green Line.
the problem here,
We were
is
all
that-
there. We were all
The
there.
problem here is that when it counted the most, this mayor and council folded. When the UCP came to this council and asked for $1 billion for an election stunt to guarantee their re-election in Calgary, you gave up all of the leverage. You gave them $1 billion blank check for their arena, and you got nothing in return. I would have fought hard to get investment, to get Green Line built, not just to the South Hospital, but to the north, where your residents in Ward 3 feel that they've abandoned you. Mayor
I am
You
Gondek.
certainly
All
fought
right,
against
hold
the
on.
Green Line
Last
hard.
word to Jody Gondek.
When I was fighting for the Green Line North, And I was sitting up with colleagues like Jeff Davison trying to figure out how to get this done. You, sir, were at UCP fundraisers with your cronies.
Not true.
All right.
That's pretty true.